Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeremy Hohola. A deck collapsed today in Evergreen with about 50 people on it. They were celebrating a birthday party this afternoon when this happened. 9 News reporter Lauren Scafidi is live from the Elk Creek Fire Station. Lauren, this sounds really scary, terrifying. You just spoke to the fire department spokesperson. What are you learning right now?
Yeah, Jeremy, the spokesperson told me that an ambulance took 3 kids to the hospital with minor injuries. She wasn't able to tell me exactly how they were hurt, but from her understanding, it was mostly bumps and bruises. Here's a look at that house. This is on Armadillo Trail in Evergreen. This is as close as we can get because of that caution tape you see, but Elk Creek Fire says about 50 people were on a second-story deck at this home when it collapsed. No word yet on why it collapsed. They were celebrating a child's birthday party up there. Elk Creek Fire says the kids were ages 5 to 10. Kids and adults were on the deck when it collapsed. Elk Creek Fire is thankful everyone is okay after a pretty rare call.
I have not been on a deck collapse in maybe not ever myself, but you know, here up in the mountains, we get a lot of different calls, a lot of interesting things happen. We kind of never know what we're going to walk into.
Some parents took a couple other kids to the hospital, but nothing was serious. We are working to get more information on what happened up there on that deck. And as soon as we get that information, we'll bring that to you tonight on 9 News. Live in Conifer, Lauren Scafidi, 9 News.
All right, thank you, Lawrence. Thankfully, it doesn't sound too serious. And taking a live look outside on another hot day here in the Mile High. Temps in the high 80s. Tomorrow, we're going to get a bit of a cool down with temps in the high 70s. And that should mean it's going to be a nice day for the last day of the Greeley Stampede tomorrow. There are events from 9 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night tomorrow. This weekend was actually an extension of the Greeley Stampede. Normally it ends on the 4th of July. And back here in Denver, Lauren, I'm not complaining about cooler temperatures tomorrow.
Right. Well, we had a cooler couple of days yesterday and on the 4th of July with those highs below average in the lower 80s. Today was our one hot day. We made it to 90 degrees at DIA. Most of the Front Range and Eastern Plains saw those upper 80s, lower to middle 90s. We even saw 97 degrees so far out in Lamar. The high country has warmed into the upper 60s, 70s, lower to middle 80s, and then more 90s right now across the western slope. But again, this is much warmer than what we saw yesterday. So let's take a look at our 24-hour temperature change map. You can see most of the Front Range and Eastern Plains anywhere between 10 to 15 degrees warmer than we were just 24 hours ago, with some smaller differences across northern portions of the Front Range and Eastern Plains as well as off to the west. But take a look, 10 degrees warmer right now in Denver. As we monitor our HD Doppler radar, we're pretty dry all across the state. So coming up in my full 7-day forecast, we're going to talk more about the clear but breezy evening we have ahead for us tonight. We do have some scattered storms in store for tomorrow, along with much cooler temperatures. But as we turn into next week, those highs will continue to skyrocket. I'll have details on all of that for you just ahead.
All righty. 2 boys are hurt after crashing into a car while on their scooters in Aurora. This happened at around 10 o'clock this morning at South Richfield in East Dartmouth. Aurora police say an 11-year-old and 12-year-old boy were riding electric scooters on the road when a truck driver hit them. Police say the kids were taken to the hospital. One of them has minor injuries. The driver stayed at the scene, and police for now say the driver is not at fault. Some sad news in the sports world today. A rookie cornerback who played for the Minnesota Vikings died in a car crash in Maryland. Police say Kyrie Jackson died overnight when someone was speeding on the highway while changing lanes. Jackson and 2 other people died. Police think alcohol might be a factor as well. The Vikings posted a statement saying they are devastated by this news and will have counseling available to the other players on his team. Jackson was teammates with Broncos players Bo Nix and Troy Franklin at the University of Oregon last season. Both of them posted on their Instagram stories today paying tribute to their former college teammate. Today, Aurora Reservoir is back to normal hours after cutting back hours because of complaints over large crowds. Now, weekend hours are the same as weekday hours, 5 o'clock in the morning to 9:30 at night. The temporary restrictions banning alcohol and loud music, though, are still in place. Windsor Lake in the town of Windsor is closed again because of blue-green algae blooms. That means people are not allowed to tube and water ski in the water there. Boaters are allowed, but the town does not recommend it. In May, the town launched new sonic buoys, which use ultrasonic waves to disrupt the algae in the water. That actually deprives algae of sunlight. Staff are keeping an eye on those buoys to monitor the air quality. And tonight, the Oak Ridge fire is now 50% contained. This is the fire near Beulah, Colorado, caused by lightning about 2 weeks ago. More than 700 firefighters are responding to this fire. It's almost 1,200 acres. Crews are focusing on improving the containment lines. Today marks 30 years since the South Canyon fire in Glenwood Springs killed 14 firefighters. The fire was so strong it killed 12 firefighters who could not outrun the flames on this day back in 1994. 2 firefighters who were responding by helicopter also could not escape. That fire was caused by lightning above the Colorado River on Storm King Mountain on a very dry and windy day. Today, there's a trail called the Storm King 14 Memorial Trail. It takes visitors on the journey of what it's like to experience what firefighters often encounter. Today marks 100 years since a northern Colorado funeral was crashed by an unexpected guest. A meteorite came crashing down right next to the service. It is now proudly displayed at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. 9 News reporter Evan Krugel has the story of its long journey.
The small town of Johnstown, Colorado, is the type of place where practically everyone has family in the town cemetery.
Yes, he is buried right in the cemetery here.
Denise Seymour never met her great-grandfather John Moore, but she's heard all about his funeral.
Yes, I can say that.
Because 100 years ago today, as her family laid him to rest, the service was interrupted.
Yes. By a meteorite.
A 12-pound piece of space rock landing just feet away.
When they heard it hit, they thought the world was ending. They went and dug up the meteorite and then went and finished the funeral.
It's the first documented example of a meteorite landing during a funeral.
You can trust Professor Richard Benzel, not just because of his white lab coat, but because he's been studying asteroids for decades.
That meteoroid hit the atmosphere, the friction made it heat up, burning trail in the sky, and the piece that landed that you can pick up is called a meteorite. And today is the first time this meteorite has been back to its landing spot in 100 years.
So go ahead and give them a round of applause, please.
Today, a few dozen people gathered to see the rock, which now lives at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science.
100 years, it's worth celebrating.
100 years in the making, so.
100 years on Earth and a few billion more before it got here.
Just a little bit older than I am, so.
Why that rock chose to crash John Moore's funeral, family will never know.
Of all the places that a meteor could fall, the rock landed in Johnstown. We've all landed here. And there's some cosmic significance to that.
Proof this small town is truly out of this world.
Happy birthday to you.
In Johnstown.
Thank you.
Evan Krugel, 9 News.
A sign from above. There's still time to see the meteorite in Johnstown. The town will have it on display tonight. They're also hosting a free event which includes NASA astronauts and a drone light show. If you miss it, you'll be able to see the rock when it returns to the Denver Museum of Nature and Science tomorrow.